guys, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies. From a Jackie Chan martial arts movie to a Nicolas Cage martial arts movie. With Frank Grillo and Tony Jaa. Alright, why not? Okay, so before I get into the review itself, I found a little bit of trivia that kinda blew my mind. So originally, Nick Cage's character was supposed to be played by Bruce Willis, of all people. But he couldn't do the movie because, get fucking this. The director, writer, and producer originally wanted Bruce Willis to play Wily, but Willis was part of a 3-movie deal with MoviePass and couldn't take the role. MoviePass! Fucking MoviePass! Who remembers that train wreck? Hey, no real disrespect here. MoviePass was the reason I got to see Ready Player One 3 times in theaters for free and introduced me to one of my favorite movie theaters out in LA, The Landmark. When it comes to me and MoviePass, I salute that old subscription service. But holy shit, I had no idea that they were still around in any capacity. I mean, I think the actual service itself is dead about now, but 3-picture deal with MoviePass Studios. Someone please explain this to me because, oh man. I mean, I've looked into it, but that's way too many words, and I'm a Neanderthal. I don't want to read. This is my honest opinion of Jiu Jitsu. Jake, played by Alain Moussi, has amnesia after sustaining a head injury and finds himself in a covert military outpost where he discovers that he is a master of jiu-jitsu. Soon he's recovered by a mysterious stranger who is also an expert martial artist. Jake then discovers that he's part of a secret group of warriors dedicated to fighting an alien, seeking a worthy fighting challenge. It's not good. I mean, you heard me talk about it in the summary. You can clearly tell that it's not good. But unlike something like Vanguard, which I thought was just schlocky fun, this is more like... it's fascinating for how bad it is. So one of the big problems with this movie is how it rips off nearly every single filmmaking trick for no rhyme or reason. Here's what I mean by that. First off, the premise is basically Predator, but instead of big burly dudes with big guns fighting a nigh invincible alien who can turn invisible and has a fetish for a good fight, we get martial artists with tonfas fighting a nigh invincible alien who can turn invisible and has a fetish for a good fight. Seriously, it's staggering how much this movie rips off Predator. Blades that come out of his arm, he jumps from tree to tree. Oh, and his name is Brax. The alien does not talk in this movie, but his name is Brax. For some reason. Onward, what if I told you that this movie also rips off Ang Lee's Hulk? Sometimes the scene transitions are comic book panels, but this movie does it like way worse. At least in Hulk, there was a, and I use this term loosely, there was a style to those transitions. Here, it's a straight up freeze frame, give it a comic book makeover, and resume story. It's so strange. You know that camera trick where you hold it in front of your actor and it keeps their head centered in frame even when they move? I don't know what that's called, but that's something they do for no reason and only for one scene. There's a random first-person moment where we're suddenly taking the point of view of Jake, the camera gets punched, a fist flies out of the camera. But what's really dumb is that there are beats where Jake is on screen, but it's so obvious that he, or whoever is operating the camera, has to put the camera down so Jake can get in position. They do this twice in one scene, and then we never do it again. Except when it's Brax's point of view. Forgot about that! We have Predator vision in this movie too. Oh my god, this movie. There's a ton of slow-mo shots, very reminiscent of a Zack Snyder film. There's also a Star Wars-like twist in it. No, the alien is not the father, though with how bad the writing is in this movie, I wouldn't have put it past it. Now for the premise. The idea of Predator, but martial artists, isn't exactly the worst idea ever conceived. This movie did seem to rope in some grade A talent, like Tony Jaa, Elaine Moussi, and Juju Chan, all clearly experienced and know what they're doing. Truly, in every fight scene they're in, they look good kicking ass. Thing is, it's not worthy of them. It takes too long to get to the actual plot. The movie builds up this huge mystery. Who was attacking Jake in the beginning? Who are these covert military guys? What are they doing in the ass end of nowhere? Who are these kung fu guys? A mystery is fine, but you have to drip feed information of some kind to the audience. You have to let us know what direction we're going in. Without that information and narrative direction, you're basically dangling a piece of string in front of the rabbit, but no carrot attached to it. In the meantime, every action scene is hollow and just feels like action because action movie. We have no idea who these characters are, why they're fighting, why we're even here in the first place. It's just a mess. And it's so poorly written that half, if not all of the mystery could have been revealed earlier had Jake been up front and said, "I have amnesia." Then maybe the characters would have had more incentive to tell us what's going on. Or the writing would have still been bad and dragged it out anyway. The military guys are mostly useless. We eventually learned that they've been hunting Brax for years, but most of them die, or whoever does live doesn't live long enough to be overly useful, or you wish they were dead. Tex, played by Eddie Steeples, is that stereotype of the cowardly, loudmouthed, comic relief black guy. I thought that trope died out years ago. Can't forget the romantic subplot. Apparently, Jake and Carmen used to be a thing, but he doesn't remember, of course. But later on in the story, they're making out, despite the fact that they've essentially known each other for a day. It's actually kind of creepy. Though I guess if I was being taken advantage of by a woman who looked like Juju Chan, I probably would have gone with it too. And if all that wasn't bad enough, it's a Chosen One story. Jake is, and I fucking dare you not to laugh at this, Jake is the chosen jujitsu.
He actually comes here from a place millions of light years away, looking for a fight with you, the chosen jujitsu.
Oh, sounds so dumb. You've probably noticed that I haven't talked much about Nicolas Cage. And that's the one tragedy of this movie, he's barely in it. Well, he is prominent, but only after the 40-minute mark, and of course, he plays the crazy but wise teacher. So no, it's not a movie about Nick Cage fighting a martial arts alien. God forbid we get anything nice in our lives. I mean, he does fight the alien, but it's not as great as it should be. What I find hilarious about his inclusion, though, is that his character is supposed to be a jujitsu master as well, flipping, acrobatic kicks and what have you, but you know Cage is not actually doing those. Always cutting away from his face just as his character is about to do something impressive. He gets a few punches in there, but it's kind of like easy shit. Shit that I've done in my own amateur movies back in high school. So in my action scenes, from when I was a snot-nosed punk teenager, just fucking around with a camera, is just as good as a professional martial arts Hollywood movie. You know you done fucked up in some way. The special effects and direction are not very good. You have a scene where shit's flying all over the place at characters, but they're not really reacting to them. The blood splatters are pretty fake. The muzzle flashes are really bad. Yeah, there is a long take of Tony Jaa just owning everyone that he comes across. And I always like to give credit to when movies do put that kind of effort in. It's just too bad that this specific scene is so formulaic. Fight dudes here. Beat them. Get shot at as we transition to the next batch of dudes that we fight. Beat them. Get shot at as we transition to the next batch of dudes. Give me a break, man. Overall, I wouldn't bother with this one. Unless you're that curious to see how these baffling filmmaking decisions play out, you might get a chuckle out of that for that alone. As for anyone else who wanted to see a martial arts movie about Nicolas Cage fighting an alien, don't do it. You're gonna hate your life. I mean, I don't hate it, but, you know, take it for what it's worth. My honest rating for Jiu-Jitsu, a week 3 out of 5. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Stay safe and healthy out there. Please wear a mask if you go out. Hope to see you soon.